that are indicative of something to do, go on, with an aspect of their ecology or of their, just of their ecology or something interesting, some interesting fact. We like to give them names like that in order to give us something intelligent to hang our talks on. So with this owl too being an Australian owl, who's actually bred in Campbelltown a few years ago. Come on. So originally from Australia, but being born in Campbelltown. Come on. As you can imagine, if you listen very hard, he's got a very strange accent. You probably don't get that joke. Not been to Campbelltown before. Anyway, yes, we do like to name our owls very carefully here at the Owl Centre. So, anyway, we thought long and hard about what to call this bird. Come on. But eventually, we were getting nowhere with that, and we were forced, in the end, to settle back on the technical name of Bruce. So this is Bruce, and we did actually have an Australian family in the audience. Here we are. Come sit over here. Put your legs apart. Come sit here. Come on. Come on. Come over here. Come on. Come on. No, come on. He doesn't want to go over there. Okay. Come on in. Come on. Yeah, we did have an Australian family in the crowd, and when they actually heard the name of the bird Bruce, the lady actually sighed out loud. She said, "Oh, I can't believe we called it Bruce." A bit like calling a Scottish owl Jimmy, I think. Anyway, we're really hoping that next year our Bucking Cow will breed again, and if they do, we're hoping for a female, and I'll leave it up to your imagination what we're going to call it. Anyway, now, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do something, if he's in the mood, that you probably wanted to do most of your life without realising it. That is to have your finger nibbled by an owl. If you hold your finger out, this owl will nibble your finger. It doesn't hurt. I might not be able to get around everyone, and he might get tired. Anyone here? Anyone here with their finger nibbled? No? No? There we are. Anyone here? I see some fingers in the back row there. Okay. I still don't know why Bruce likes doing this, by the way, because we do have quite a sizable food bill in the Owl Centre here, but unfortunately, so far, Bruce has not taken advantage of the extra protein on offer. Anyone back here? Finger nibble by the owl? Have I missed anyone there in the back? Yeah, see you there. Yeah, obviously it's on really busy days it's very hard for me to get round everyone, especially when it's packed out in here. It's hard for me to get round everyone. So, because it was like that last year, it took me ages to get round everyone. What I'm going to do this year on really busy days, instead of doing this with the babuka, I'm going to do it with the great horn down. So that should speed up the process nicely. I think once the first person has their finger nibble, no one else will, because the person will be minus their hand. Now, Australia is a very big country, as you're about to be aware, full of all sorts of interesting habitats, ranging from wet tropics, which is wet tropics in northeast Queensland, which is tropical rainforest, and there are, of course, parks and gardens, coastal areas, and vineyards, where the Australians grow their very fine grapes to make their wines. But most of the country, as you'll be aware, is made up of desert. The outback, in fact, makes up about a third of the country. The outback is all desert. Yeah, he seems to like doing this. He's not fed up with it yet. You're not fed up with that yet, Bruce. Anyone here? Quick. Doesn't hurt. There you go. There we go. Now, wherever you go in Australia, you're likely to come across this owl. And how you're likely to come across it is by hearing it. Because this bird has got a very distinctive call. In fact, this is one of those birds in the world named after the sound that it makes. There's quite a few birds in the world named after the sound they make. In our own country, we have the curlew. It's called that because it says its own name, curlew. Then there's a species of warbler that spends the winter in West Africa, crosses the Sahara Desert every year, and then sits in one of our trees and says its own name. It's called the chip-chap. It says its own name, chip-chap. And then there's a wonderful species of seabird, some of which breed off the coast of of Scotland here, and if you go over to the Scottish Seabird Centre, you'll still be able to hear them, called the kittiwake. If you've not heard a kittiwake call any before, I really recommend you do. Wonderful sound they make, kittiwake. Kittiwake, they say their own name. And probably the most famous bird of all, named after, that says its own name, is of course the cuckoo. The cuckoo says its own name. And in fact, the very first European settlers to Australia, well, they thought Australia was a strange country for all sorts of reasons. One of those was they thought the cuckoos came out at night time. But of course, it wasn't the cuckoos they were hearing. It was this little fella, the baboo cow, because it says its own name. Now, if you've not worked it out by now, I'm not referring to the first part of its name, southern, they don't say that. But the second bit, woof, woof, boop, boop, gives rise to this distinctive name of this bird. Bruce, over here, Bruce. Wait, Bruce, come on, Bruce. In fact, we had a honeymoon couple come to visit us in Campbelltown. And they'd just come back from Australia, they'd been there for several weeks, and they told me that they had heard this sound. Wherever they went, whatever hotel they stayed at, they heard this very distinctive sound. And they didn't know what it was. Here, Bruce, and they had to come then all the way to the Monarch Tire to find out that it was in fact Australia's commonest owl, which is this bird, the southern baboo owl. So how come this owl is so successful? It's not the biggest owl in Australia. Australia has several species of owl. The largest of the owls in Australia is an owl known as the powerful owl. But the powerful owl, Bruce, but the powerful owl is not the most successful. Bruce, the baboo owl is. Now, it's quite unusual to find a bird able to adapt itself to all those different habitats. Normally, you'd find Bruce, Bruce, hey, Bruce. Normally, you'd find a bird would adapt itself to only one particular habitat. Come on, Bruce. Hey, Bruce. Come on, Bruce. But this owl is equally at home in the vineyards, tropical rainforest, and even in the outback. So what's the secret to this bird's conquering of Australia? Well, the answer is in its diet. Although this owl will eat small birds, they will eat rodents, as all owls will, primarily this owl is an insect-eating owl. Being an insect-eating owl has enabled this owl to find a plentiful supply of food in all those different habitats. Whether it's the local parks and gardens, lots of insects. Whether it's the tropical rainforest, even in the outback, lots of nice juicy insects. So this owl's not too big. If it was too big, it would need to eat larger prey. Larger prey is hard to come by, and the owl would be rarer. If it was too small, the owl would be too delicate to survive some of the sharp extremes in temperature that you find in Australia. So the baboo cow is not too big, not too small, ideal for thriving off of primarily an insect diet, which is the reason why you can often locate a baboo cow in Australia perched on a street light. Why a street light? Well, the street light attracts insects, and a favourite owl hunting strategy is what's known as perch and pounce, where the owl perches, keeps very still, listening and looking, waiting for anything to come within reach, and then pouncing very quickly. So the owl perches on the edge of the street light, and it waits. It waits for an insect to be drawn into the light. And then he helps himself to a nice, easy meal. And then does he fly off and look for food elsewhere? No, he just sits back and he waits for the light to draw in a nice flying beetle of some sort. And then he helps himself to a beetle. And he can sit there all night long, hardly expending any energy at all. I know lots of men here nodding their heads because the world comes obviously slow progress now. And we know what that's like. Sit back, wait for all your food to arrive in your lap. You don't have to do anything at all. That's what owls do. And he'll sit there till his heart's content until dawn. And then he flies off on his daytime roost and pretends he's done a day's work. Occasionally you get bats drawn into the street lights as well. The bats are there for the same reason, because of the insects. If the baboo cow should be perched there when a bat is drawn in, all the baboo cow has to do is reach into his pocket, he did that there, reaches into his pocket and he pulls out his owl restaurant menu. And he scrolls down until he sees the word bat. And he says to himself, do you know, I fancy one of those tonight. And he'll fly up into the air and he'll snatch the bat mid-air with his talons. Right, Bruce, Tony went home. You coming home now? Okay, Bruce, say goodbye to everybody. Home. Say goodbye. Home. There we go. Thank you very much for sitting through the display. If anyone would like their photograph taken,